So let's see what our first 4 players are going to look like as Group B heads towards the business end. Demi versus Pezz. Let's do it. I think Pezz is from Melbourne, from memory.
I think so. He usually shows up to the Melbourne lands and stuff.
That's where I first met him, was at ACL Melbourne 2012. It's the first time I met Pezz. He liked Blinkstalkers back then, and he still likes them.
Oh, that's true. And this is him in the bottom left, actually, in the purple. It's Pezz.
You almost sound surprised by that. And the top right here, representing OSC Elite, this is the Indian Zerg, Demi. I hope he's didn't. I hope he didn't misspell something then, because that's really offensive to a large demographic of people. But you know, I mean, Pezz is very similar to Puck in the sense that he likes these blink stalkers, he likes disruptors, that sort of thing. But it is a little bit different. Pezz has shown us that he is still enjoying the more tried and true, you know, double Stargate stuff into just Immortals and having a ground army sort of thing. And like I said, Demi Love, what does he go for when the Protoss is starting to get up a ground army that he feels like he can't deal with? Well, he gets the Mutt-Mutts up. We saw how much they can devastate a probe line in our series with Pig.
Yeah, I feel like Demi's decision-making has been very spot on, very confident. He hasn't really hesitated at any point in the game. He never looks like he's madly scrambling for what to do. He's been making good decisions and playing really well, so I think he has a really good chance here. But you know what? Pezz is looking pretty good himself, so not going to call it either way just yet. I'm going to let this first game play out and see if I revise my initial prediction, but I don't know. I feel like I underestimate Pezz a little bit sometimes.
Okay. I feel like a lot of us do. Pezz, though, every now and then really looks quite awesome in these online brackets. Like, remember a couple challenger qualifiers where Pezz gets really deep and it gets so very close. I mean, he was actually very heartbroken about the results of oh god, I think it was like the final season last year of Challenger. Pezz was just so close. I think that was the one. And I remember him feeling very disheartened on Twitter and messaging him and going, hey man, you know, next time you got this. Pleased to see he's still sticking around and putting his nose to the grind zone.
Yeah, I think as well as he performed in the last year, he actually only made it to a top 8 once. Once? Yeah, I think that was it. And it was kind of surprising when I looked back at my notes and I realized that, because I was like, I swear this guy is like top 6 in my head pretty consistently. I mean, would you agree that he's like the next strongest Protoss after Probe?
Trying to think of who else could be. I mean, I guess so. There are some great players out there like you know, Blisk, and of course we see Lunith all the time.
Yeah, we have some like
would love to see what
Lobo and Frustration and
Frustration,
Rise, but I feel like Pezz is actually, if not the strongest, the most consistent.
Yeah, I'd say that Pezz is better than those guys for sure. But just trying to think. I mean, we do have another Protoss in groups next week, which we haven't seen yet, or I at least haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that's the yeah. No, I haven't seen him play either, so that'll be an interesting one.
Cool. Well, nice Overlord here from Demi. Gets to see the main base, sees the Prism, sees Immortals being made as well.
Yeah, good scout off. And with that charge coming up again, Pezz will be able to put on a little bit of aggression. Demi, on the other hand, is getting close to finishing up that Roach Warren, getting those extra gases. They're halfway done as well, so he will have the tools available to him to help defend against this, but it is going to be a pretty strong push.
Certainly will. He's going for the Marjorie. Good times. Cutting the probes, getting charged, going for the Zealots. Does have a little bit of supply box he's dealing with right now before the gateways finish up. And Demi Love he has scouted this. This time he's actually going for the Roach response rather than Ling Bane, which he did very effectively against Pig. I feel like the Roaches are a little bit better when you have a little bit less creep against this kind of thing.
Yeah, they do last a little bit longer. I think it's sometimes a bit harder to close the distance on those immortals. The Lings are definitely a lot nicer to sort of get us around there, but you do have to get close enough either way, and the Zelts are going to be trying to prevent that from happening. So this third base, he's just evacuated it, gone, you know what, I can't defend that right now. So taking a little bit more time to get a few more Roaches out.
I think Pezz might have actually found nuts here because Demi Love, while he did cut workers at what seems to be the right time, and he did do nothing but break Roaches for a while, it feels like losing a few Roaches like that, the army supply advantage for the Zerg isn't as high as you want it to be right now to actually comfortably hold this. He's getting a good bit of damage on one of these Immortals, cracks hardened shields on both of them, nearly kills one of them here in the back line, but these charge lots are just keeping Demi Love pinned back, and this Prism is out of Queen range for now. He's continuing to reinforce his position as Pezz goes for this big stronghold in, juggling those Immortals around right in the face of Demi as well. And he is just shaving into that Roach count. Now, Demi Love is getting another big round out. It's good that he's kept on top of his injects here in the main. The natural does have plenty of lava to work with.
But that's actually about to run out. He's only got 2 left, and he's only got 2 queens, and those 2 queens are currently helping defend in the natural. So he's got to get his money's worth out of these Roaches. He keeps microing back, trying to get favorable fights against the Zealots. Moving forward a second here now, but really hard to get much closer than that. Mortal takes 1 big shot, loses its shields, but still having to dance back and forth and actually not gaining a lot of ground.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't killed Demi Love here, which he kind of needs to do. Demi Love's starting to lose a bit of dronage here, but again, has been able to mass up a good number of Roaches. That Prism is still quite annoying. He can juggle those Immortals from range, and Demi Love doesn't want to overextend here. His Roaches actually won't like 100% trade well here against the Charge Lots and the Immortals if they all come up together. Although the Charge Lots are breaking off, we've got some going to the main base, getting probe damage there, killed half a dozen already, going into the natural now where the probes from the drones from the main are going, getting another couple. And he wants to kill an Immortal so badly. He just can't kill the Prism anymore because he's lost his queens. Really frustrating to have to deal with this for Demi Love.
Oh, he's actually trapped his own Roaches there with the whole position on the drones. Now he...
Yeah, I think Pezz has finally done it.
Yeah, just not quite enough there. GG, Pezz takes game number 1. Looks like he found Demi's weakness here.
Yeah, I mean, Demi Love scouted and reacted to the Marjorie build so much better when Pig did it. That time, he went for the Roach option, and I mean, it started off a little rough where he lost a bunch of Roaches at the third base for free. Because they're just being, you know, all these hatcheries were rallied production to one area, and the third base Roaches just went into a Charge Lot Immortal meat grinder and died. That's a bad start. But he did do, like, you want to try and, from what I understand, you want to cut drones at like in the low 40s. And then just do nothing but make units to hold on, because the Protoss is all in. Like you are going to be up on workers regardless, because it's done on like a pretty low economy for Protoss. So yeah, unfortunate that the fights didn't go Demi Love's way. I think maybe losing those queens and not being able to get the Prism was the unfortunate part of that. I think if you can't kill the Prism, it is nigh impossible to stop. You got to kill the Prism somehow.
Yeah,
even like having a Spork Roll or somewhere that you can dance in front of it. I don't know. Like, I'm not a good Zerg player, so it's such a tough build to not only read correctly but also prepare against.
Yeah, you're right. Like, I did like Pezz isn't going to lose his Immortals in a silly way. I feel like against Pig, what really helped is that he kind of shut it down before it even got too close to his base. Like, he sort of walked up to go up the ramp, and then he lost like all his buffer like instantly. Then he had to sort of pull back. He didn't really get to set up his Warp Prism and stuff, and so he shut it down before it ever really got started. But that becomes exponentially harder to do the second even one warp in gets up, and you saw him immediately evacuate the third, going, geez, I actually don't have enough for that. No, that's really all it takes. I thought his defense was actually pretty good, but he just couldn't really kill off enough of Pezz's army to gain any ground back and push him out of the way, so he didn't have to be sort of stuck in his natural back and forth. And like you mentioned, the queens, losing those really sucks. By the end, you know, he had actually produced a lot of queens during that as well, which was really good, but he just kept losing him, couldn't hold on to him.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I got like kind of stuck between the Roaches and the Protoss army, between a rock and a hard place, if you will. And then the queen's going down. No anti-air, really. No way to shoot down the prism. Man, that prism is not going to stop the magic. Juggling those mortals and warping in zealots until you die. Anyway, let's get in the game. Currently down in the series. He's lost his first map today. This is OSC Elite's Demi.
And over in the top left, in the purple from SYF, it is Pezz.
Certainly is. Good all in there in game one. And that's kind of been the hot topic for a lot of players out there is, you know Zepph as someone that's been in the game for 9 years. The meta is a living, breathing thing. It is a constantly evolving, constantly shifting thing. And right now, there's a lot of concern out there for Zergs because there are a bunch of really strong all-ins that Protoss can do. And a lot of them look so similar that you don't know which one it is, and they all require different responses. So it's sort of a little bit in turmoil at the moment, this matchup, where the Zergs at the very, very highest level are having trouble with the very, very highest level Protosses doing their all-ins and managing to catch them with their pants down or their hands in the cookie jar if you want to go more PG-13.
Yeah, it definitely makes it really difficult. I mean, Protoss has always been kind of like that to deal with. Obviously, the less variety there is, the better. Like back in the days where Immortal Sentry was the only thing that people did, or 7-gate plus 2 blink. Like you only had to know how to prepare for the one thing, and even then it was still extremely difficult to hold it off. When you add in all those extra possibilities, it's just that much harder to read it correctly, especially when you have a Protoss that is good at hiding the information. They put the tech in the right spot so you can't scout it. They've got stalkers denying your overlords, that sort of thing. But I have to say, from the games that we've seen so far, Demi's actually been pretty on top of the scout.
Yep, certainly. I mean, you did see the scout, but it looked like he was... I would like to see the game against Pig, and it was actually on this map, if Demi Love was going for a Baneling Nest anyway. Because it felt like that map, on New Repugnancy against Pezz, he just had a different idea. He wanted to go down the Roach path. He already had that Roach Warren built by the time he saw those gateways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the important thing is, you need to see if your Protoss is still probing or not. And that's why, we saw Pig actually fake building probes, because you actually pretend that you are and then you cancel them. It's so tricky. Such a dirty, dirty build.
Those are some old school dirty Protoss tricks too, back from the days of making a third and then canceling it at the last minute and stuff.
Yeah, got all Wings of Liberty.
Yeah.
The fake expansion into 4-gate.
The golden age.
Right. This time it looks like a little bit more of a regular build from Pezz. Got Twilight Council going down here with the Prism. We'll keep an eye on gas mining and probe production and that sort of thing to see exactly what Pezz is up to. At the moment, Demi's getting up a lair. He's got his third on the way. It looks very, very standard affair on the Zerg side of the map.
Yeah, on both sides. So as that Warp Prism pops, we'll see what sort of damage he can get done with his harassment. And again, it is going to be charge.
Charge here, yeah. But no immortals. It just starts one now. So a bit of a different opening. Normally the Prism goes out there with a couple of mortals in tow, and you make a bunch of gateways behind this. Yeah, we're just seeing that extra gateway now for Pezz. I think he's still on just one. Yeah, he's just on the one.
But as Warp Prism finishes up here, charge doesn't actually take that long to research, so you can get over there and start doing a couple of warp-ins in the main on the corner and stuff, and then stretching the Zerg out.
This is Marjorie again from Pezz.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel like playing PvZ today.
Apparently not, but Demi's going to scout it once again. Roach Warren has finished in time, and 2 Overlords on the way, so he's definitely well set up to just churn out units. And let's see how he approaches it this time.
Yeah, I think Demi cut drones on 44 last game. Why not just cut in 41? Just hold that R button.
Yeah, he's had a bit more warning this time. He's already got 10 roaches coming out, and so by the time this actually gets to his base, he should have a fairly solid force. Also, how many queens does he have? He has 3. So he could get in a similar position if he gets pinned back into one of his bases defending, but I feel like coming up the ramp helps Demi a little bit if he can sort of situate himself here, ready to meet it. Let's see how he goes as the push arrives.
I like the amount of units Demi Love has this time. It needs to obviously keep those queens alive. They're very, very important for, like I said, holding the War Prism. Holding on to the third base here is a pipe dream for Demi Love. Doesn't look like that's going to happen at all. So down that goes, and that's already a good start here for Pezz. Again, 3 roaches in production down here at the third base that I think he's going to kill straight away unless Demi Love cancels them, and he cancels them just in time.
And he's going to continue forward here to the natural base. The Roach Warren's actually in a pretty exposed position here. And he's hiding back with those roaches a little bit. Roach speed did finish there real quick. Queens trying to join on the front lines here. It's not the worst spot because you can sort of let the Zealots come forward and then kite back, but still not too much room to dance around here. Charge having been used up, though, there's the second round. He does have to back up again. Can't reach that War Prism, which is really rough.
I mean, if he kills that Roach Warren, Demilove can only warp in Zerglings, which these charge lots are going to be more than happy to see. So if he gets rid of these Roaches, Demilove actually is going to just be in a world of pain. The Marjorie is already showing a lot of value here for Pezz. Demilove does have a good amount of army supply, and he is starting to push back these charge lots, giving him room to breathe. More importantly, room to get more queens and that Roach Warren back up. If he can keep Pezz away from his natural, that's going to be the goal here for Demilove. Pezz actually might want to think about, I mean, I know you want to keep everything together, but just breaking off a few Zealots and dropping them into the main base.
Yeah, and that's part of what sealed the deal in the last game towards the end there. So he comes in again. Charge's getting right in the face of those roaches. They do kite back, and he's doing a really good job at actually picking off a lot of those. The Immortals don't have that many Zealots left to protect them. Does pull drones here for a second. Slowlings even coming out because he's still just waiting for that Roach Warren. It is finished now, and he can start producing a few more, but the gap in the production might have cost him too much there.
Yeah, I think it's starting to look a little bit like Pezz has done it again. He's going to have another big warp in here. Oh, whoopsie daisies. I was going to say. A bit of a misclick. But there's that big warp in, spending that mineral bank. He's not mining any gas right now. He's in fact mined 100 more gas than he actually needs. But this is just all about the charge lots. And Demilove is stuck up against the wall with these Immortals. Once again, going for those Queens. I mean, the Queens are still being produced, but they are just getting killed so fast by these charge lots and Immortals.
Yeah,
and all you Protoss players out there, if you're having a tough time against Zerg, learn this build. It's very, very easy to do, and it is extremely hard to stop.
Yeah, he's been pretty patient. Those Immortals getting very bruised, but all in all, they're not dying, and that's the main thing. And there you go, he's finally peeling off that group of Zealots to go into the main as well. Demi's going to take the opportunity to chase down the other half of the army with the Immortals in it. But he has to evacuate the drones. There's another warp in coming in, and now it's not so feasible to close the distance there. And he's holding on valiantly, but Pezz is looking so good here.
Yeah, it looks like he's done it. Like the Zerg wants to be up in army supply by a good margin if they want to have a dream in holding this, especially with roaches. And this is looking more and more like a win for Pezz as he gets another round of charge lots out. The natural still taking damage. Demilove doesn't really have an answer anymore. He's still making roaches and queens as much as he can, but he is taking damage all over the place. Pezz just gets further and further ahead with those numbers, getting further and further in his favor. Demilove's lost a ton of probes. He's lost a ton of roaches. He's even lost his Roach Warren at one point. This Spine Crawler is so interesting to me. And he's in desperation mood right here, but there's the main base, so what remains of it? These charge lots are uncontested, and there's the G from Demilove as Pezz gets a 2-0 and will be our first player to move on from Group B here, the Oceanic Challenger.
Gee, indeed. And you know what? I'm so happy to be proven wrong there. I predicted 2-1 for Demi, but Pezz with a 2-0, really strong result. Demi is a scary player to come up against, and to beat him like that in the group stages has got to be an awesome feeling and a really great confidence booster for Pezz going into the round of 8. And I'm really happy to see him move on there. So well done to Pezz. Super
sick. Congrats to Pezz. Topping Group B. I mean, I expected Demi to be on the top. I wouldn't have been surprised to see Pezz come out second, but that's a really good showing for him. He's going to be feeling a lot of confidence going into the round of 8. Demilove and Crimson, we're going to actually have a ZVZ this evening. I thought it was going to be nothing but PVZs, but there you go. We are going to get that mirror match up at the bottom side of the bracket and finish things off with our losers final, or the deciders match, whatever you want to call it. Demilove against Crimson will be up next on stream for our last best of 3. And Zepph, I have to ask you, this is a hard question. Are you sitting down? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I see a chair behind you, so you probably are sitting down. Who wins this? Is it Demilove or Crimson?
Oh, that's a hard question.
I know. It's tough, right?
I picked Demi again.
You picked Demi?
Crimson
Mm.
doesn't seem to be on his A game today. That's my reasoning behind that one.
Yeah, but when things got weird, Crimson certainly
Yeah,
yeah, pulled a
been
rabbit
a
out of a
bit
hat
of a
there
messy
in
day for him.
that one game there. It was a bit messy, but
Yeah.
I actually am going to. I think Demi Love wins as well. I like my head. Something is tearing at the idea of Crimson winning, though. I got like someone up there in my
Yeah.
brain that's pulling at my sleeve, like, "Hey, Crimson's really good, man. You know, remember all
He
those
is.
times where he
He
just beat
is.
really scary people in ZVZ?" And I'm like, "All right, well, I'm gonna make a choice though. I'm gonna say Demi Love 2-1.
Okay. Well, we'll go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll see if indeed Demi takes out Crimson or if Crimson comes back with a vengeance and manages to qualify for the round of 8. We'll be back soon. Don't go away.